As we talked, Tom was nursing a cold. He explained that he and his troops had just returned from several weeks in the field, where they had conducted intensive training exercises and worked extremely long hours. When they got back, after securing weapons and ammunition, Tom released his troops early to take hot showers, find a decent meal, and get some overdue rest. In contrast, he'd planned to stay at the office to knock out some paperwork and make a dent in his long email queue. When Tom started in on those tasks, however, he found he had no motivation. He berated himself for his lack of self-discipline. Other leaders certainly would have been able to rouse the effort to stay at their desks, he reported. Instead, I gave in to my laziness by moving over to his office couch, picking up a mystery novel, and, after reading a few pages, promptly falling asleep. When he woke up that evening with the book on his face, he went home and slept deeply for several more hours that night. Tom slumped in his chair as he confessed this lazy behavior to me. Was any of that work so time-sensitive that it had to be finished last night? I asked. He shook his head. No. Did you feel more rested when you woke up this morning? I asked. Well, yes. Is your cold feeling better today than it did yesterday? I guess so. Are you more alert this morning after giving in to your supposed laziness yesterday? Absolutely. Then I don't see what the problem is, I declared. By listening to his body's true needs and napping, he was now more alert and motivated. Today, his tasks would likely take less time to complete and be completed more effectively. That wasn't laziness. It was wisdom. Tom nodded. Yet, he still seemed ill at ease. Why? Although Tom had paid attention to his survival brains and his body's input, and honored that input by sleeping, his thinking brain remained caught up in thoughts and beliefs about what laziness is or what a good leader would do. These thoughts were at odds with the actual situation, a disconnect that was energizing his distress. Tom was still fighting with reality, adding a tremendous amount of self-flagellation, shame, and stress to a rather straightforward example of adaptive decision-making. The struggle with should. Whenever there's misalignment between reality and the thinking brain's thoughts, opinions, beliefs, assumptions, expectations, and preferences, it's a setup for suffering. I'll refer to these thought-based phenomena collectively as the thinking brain's agenda. Indeed, while the thinking brain is an excellent tool, and we rely heavily on its talents as we move through the world, it's often our own worst enemy. This chapter and the next explore situations in which the thinking brain can get us into trouble, in the process, leaving many people feeling helpless and lacking control. Unlike stress arousal, emotions, and chronic pain, however, the topics in these chapters are mind-made stressors, mostly created by the thinking brain. The distress we experience with them usually lies in the gap between reality as it actually is and the reality that our thinking brain expects, believes, or prefers. This chapter focuses on finding agency with limits, boundaries, and resistance. Although MFIT includes some experiential practices for recognizing and working skillfully with limits, which are not included in this book, much of this chapter's discussion extends beyond the formal MFIT course. As Chapter 14 explained, since the survival brain is threatened when our thoughts and behavior diverge too widely from this moment's reality, It always responds,